25 years since the movie came out, we've seen so many zombie films. What is it about the Return of the Living Dead that stands out above all the other zombie films?
Screenplay. The screenplay and the direction, and the fact that it's really scary but also really funny. And the funniness doesn't come out of comedy writing, it comes out of the tense, intense horror situations that the characters are in. Sort of like Abbott and Costello made Frankenstein.
Yeah, it was kind of a seismic shift in zombie movies. Up until that time, zombies were just these slow-moving flesh-eater things, and nobody had ever really thought about it much. And then Dan really thought about it and came up with a really fun idea for this, and kind of turned the whole idea on its head. And that's what made such a big impression. That's why it made the impression it did. It lasts till this day. I think it really holds up.
And I think the costumes and the music.
Yes.
Just like, I think it's so unique for that time. The costumes and music were fabulous.
Yeah, first punk rock soundtrack.
My answer was the costumes and the music. I thought that was just a huge part of it.
Well, I think along those same lines, because a horror film starring a group of teenagers wasn't very unique. That's been happening before and even to this day. But the fact that we were, punks and sort of outside the mainstream teenagers was a unique spin on it. And that was a good excuse for the punk soundtrack, which was amazing, and I think another unique spin on it.
Yay.
Right, John Feldman?
I appreciate that. Anyone here have a question? You guys all came out, Leo in the black shirt.
I would have gone guy with the giant beard, but black shirt, okay.
It's my go-to joke.
Yeah.
Hey, this one's for Brian.
Hey, that's me.
All the guys in the house want to know, was Scud's packing 9.5 inches worth of heat as well?
Oh, well, hell yeah. Yeah, I just carried that over from Last American Virgin to this film. We didn't really make use of it like we should have. There's some deleted scenes that only I own copies of. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah, originally you thought Lene was alone on that plinth dancing?
Yeah. Wait, I have to explain for Jewel, because Jewel is looking at me confused and slightly excited at the same time. In the movie The Last American Virgin, which I made before Return of the Living Dead, I had a 9.5-inch penis in which I win the penis measuring contest.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it was a Merchant Ivory film.
Oh, right.
I actually have a question from Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 for Linnea Quigley.
We love Mark Patton.
Yeah.
What?
He actually wanted me to ask you, did any guys hit on you on set? That's from Mark Patton.
I don't think anybody hit on me on set because they thought I would eat their brains. So they kind of stayed away from me. I think they were a little afraid. Oh, the extras did hit on me, that's right. But physically, they hit on me. They submerged themselves on me, and I was terrified.
Anybody else on set was hit on?
James Caron hit on me mercilessly.
Really?
I remember that. You were like,
Very awkward.
it was like, you said, I want to be on top, and he said, no, I do.
I was like, back off, Mr. Pathmark.
Can you show us on this doll where he touched you? Question from the audience?
The produce section.
Anybody here? Come on, you have the question.
When's the next one coming out?
Yeah, when we're actually all dead.
From previous interviews with a lot of you, you talked about wanting to do a sequel.
We tried hard to get, but the financing is just too hard to get.
Yeah.
We've been trying to a blue in the face.
Yeah, but Beverly made a really good. But Beverly made a really good documentary. It's called More Brains.
Yes. More
If you guys haven't seen that, it's like the best documentary ever, and I can't tell you enough how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Everything in there is gospel truth. Why are you guys all laughing?
No, it's true. If you haven't seen the documentary, it's actually, I mean, if you're not interested in this movie, it'd be a really boring documentary. But if you care about this movie, it's a really great documentary, and it's very lengthy and it's very in-depth, and everyone participated in it, including people that are not here with us today.
And Mikey.
And Mikey Perez produced this thing
Oh,
as
there
well.
he is, right over there.
Anyway, it's a great documentary, and we were all like shockingly honest.
Brian's just saying that because he's the narrator of it too.
Oh, you got to marry it.
Yeah,
But it is a good documentary.
Brian said we're shockingly honest, and that's the thing that makes it stand out and be different from other Hollywood documentaries is we broke that unwritten rule and told the truth.
We figured after 20 some odd years, there's no reason to lie, right?
It was therapy.
Yeah.
It was therapy.
And Mr. Stout, which were the most successful zombies from your artwork to screen?
Well, Tarman without a doubt, but I have to give at least half the credit, if not even more, to Mr. Alan Troutman because he made that suit come alive in a way that no stuntman could do. I insisted it had to be an actor, and fortunately we got a great one.
And wouldn't we love to see that move?
Oh, yes. Tarman Shamble, please. Speech. Come on.
Yeah, okay. It's nowhere near as scary. Here, it just looks kind of weird. He starts out like this. I always think of it as his pelvis is just about to squirt out and land on the floor. That's kind of like that's really all it is.
Now it just sort of looks like a drunk insurance salesman.
Yeah, it looks like the professor stayed out a little too late though.
The other one that really stands out is the half corpse, which Brian Peck had a big hand in.
This big hand.
And we all love the split dog.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the butterflies. I love the butterflies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the yellow, and the yellow man. When Dan O'Bannon wrote the screenplay, he got together with me and he said, look, I don't want this to be like other zombie movies. I want principal corpses. He says, in regular films we have principal actors and those are the lead actors in the film. He said, in this movie we're going to have principal corpses. So I want you to design me some very distinctive corpses that have not been seen in any other film. So that was a real fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Tom, tell it. Do you remember? You don't even remember. We do remember, but go ahead.
I really, yes. I've heard we went on I don't really
They gave him money for us to go
I think
out.
that's a compliment.
We can't remember where we went. We can't remember what we did. And
we were young.
That's like the worst date ever.
Or the best.
yeah.
Okay, was there tongue involved?
No, I think we were both just very
I think I had the lamb actually.
What? What was that?
He didn't have the tongue.
Me and Jewel had a great date after the movie.
Whoa.
Like during the movie, she used to give me shit the whole time, and then like on the closing day, I was washing blood or something off. She's like, "Oh, dude, you're hot," and then so afterwards, we went on a
Tell.
everything. Man. It was awesome, man. Jewel was just this kid. She was wearing like fluorescent green, and I had a black light, and it was just fantastic.
It was great. I mean, fluorescent green and blood. It was like, oh, you're so hot.
We didn't film it or anything like that, but it should have been in the, yeah, we should have put it in the movie. It was awesome.
Audience, right here.
If there was a remake, what actors would you want to play the parts?
I like that little Amanda girl. The little one with the long blonde hair.
Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, I like her. There. I'm done.
Oh, man, I don't know.
Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad should play Scott.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
I don't know. I like that girl from the Transformers.
Megan Fox.
The first one or the last one?
Megan Fox.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That ain't bad.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good to
I would
have.
get really turned on if Megan Fox was doing it.
Yeah, I know.
John Philbin, who should play Chuck?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody could replace any of us.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I don't know.
What about Mr. Gulager here? Does he have-
Yeah, I want to hear from Clu Gulager, who has. This is the first time Clu has ever left town to come join us. So I want to. So Clu Gulager needs to address the crowd.
You're gonna sing Pretty Mary Sunshine?
No. Is anyone here from Georgia or? Okay, you are. Okay. My people came from Georgia. I'm an Indian, and we moved to Oklahoma, and I'm a cowboy from Oklahoma, literally, and then became an actor in the Marine Corps. And people here have asked me about my names. So many questions. Where'd you get Clu? Clu. Well, that's an Indian name, and I was named I'm an old guy, and when I was a baby, I was named like most Indian babies, literally are named. When the first thing the mother sees after the child is born, this is a true story, they call that baby. So my mother looked out the window when I was born. She saw a red bird flying in the sky, and the Cherokee name for red bird is Clu, 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 Clu. So she called me Clu, you know.
Wow.
I'm glad she didn't look out the window and see an outhouse.
I didn't know.
It's a long time.
My
Big build up for nothing, John.
My Indian name is Broken Rubber.
The reason I think this picture was successful, in it, if it was, is because of the sex. I thought Brian Peck was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Linnea, do you want to trade seats?
Yeah, really.
He put on a little muscle since that film.
Oh, is that what you call it?
He's expanded a little bit, mostly muscle, and
Get that penis reduction.
They got the penis reduction, yeah.
yeah.
This is classy. This is the classiest panel. It's just like inside the actor's studio, isn't it?
We sure do thank you guys for coming over and watching this panel, because we don't know what to say.
You could be up at Fandingles getting drunk right now, or Dangles, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that was a surprise. They'd hung a sheet, and yeah, that was a surprise. And then they started to roll, and then down they go. So yeah. Surprise. Well, you know, it was a little awkward because I couldn't. I had to stay there, but I thought it was fascinating. It was a fascinating costume, and I thought, my gosh, that's fabulous. And so it wasn't something that was frightening, but I liked the aspect that it was a surprise. That was really fun.
The broken step was a surprise, too.
The broken step was a surprise, yeah.
Yes.
That was not fun.
Looking back on it, though, do you think it helped your performance falling through the steps? Or do you think you would have done just as well?
I think it hurt her.
I was black and blue, so no, it just ticked me off. I was just like, really?
Yeah, on Conan the Barbarian, my director, John Milius, told Arnold, who was getting battered and cut in all kinds of different places, he said, the pain is temporary, the film is forever.
Oh,
There you go.
that's true.
Except my hip replacement's gonna cost a lot in a few years.
Yes.
I guess I was unusual in that I never came to the set unless I had to get wows down and work or something. But I remember seeing this guy I didn't know sitting off all by himself in this outfit, and he couldn't drink or smoke or talk to anybody. He was sitting all by himself. And I felt really sorry for him. And then, then they put us into a scene and call action, and he'd come out and do this thing. And we couldn't fake our amazement at, what a transformation. It was a human being, but it did not resemble a real person. And then he would go back to waiting. And it was no one could talk to him because he was so unreal. It was surreal. It was an amazing job. But at that time, I'd never seen anybody do anything like that, so committed to that kind of performance. It was awesome. Good work.
Alan, tell them about, one of my favorite stories is about, because obviously you would sweat a lot in that suit.
Oh, yeah, I was
about
gonna
when
ask
someone
about
else had to put it on.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, first of all, this explains why I don't have too many backstage stories. Or off, because most of the time I'm just like on a slant board, just sort of like waiting to go on, and nobody really, there was like this perimeter around me. You were, what the heck is that? I don't know, I'm not going to talk to it though.
We've become very good friends with Alan since, but on set we were like, oh, don't talk to that guy.
Who knows what's in there? What did you ask me about?
No, about when you had to take the suit off.
Oh God, yeah. The scene where where Clu knocks my head off at the end. The way they did that was they actually hired another performer
Without a head.
without a head, who was about that tall. To get in the suit after me. All right, and then there was a fake head and he knocked it off. So I would walk out and then, you know, he would swing, cut, great, you get out of the suit, you get into the suit. And if I remember correctly, that was like the last day of shooting for me. And I was like done with it. I got out of that suit and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're gonna put somebody else in this thing, because it's wet and smelly, and I'd been in that thing for, you know, a couple of weeks. I just felt awful for that guy.
And it was
but-
we shot this movie during the summer, and we were on this warehouse. It was really hot in there, sweltering.
And
hot.
I just laughed all the way home.
So this guy literally got to get not only in Alan's sweaty, smelly suit, but literally covering his face, so his nose was like right there. I always thought that was the most horrific thing about the film.
Oh, God.
He had to keep his face forward, because if he turned from side to side, he'd be in Alan's armpits.
Oh,